Okay, so get this. OpenAI just declared a code red. Nvidia lost a whopping $600 billion in a single day. Yeah, the biggest loss in stock market history. And Google? Well, they just dropped a model that is now beating GPT-5 on pretty much every single benchmark. The entire power balance in AI has just been turned on its head. So let's dive in and break down this year's AI report card.
And look, what you're seeing isn't just some other tech headline. Mark Andreessen is calling it AI's Sputnik moment. But you want to know the craziest part? This whole power shift, it was predicted. It was laid out in a report by an ex-OpenAI researcher who walked away from millions of dollars in equity just so he could publish his warnings.
Yeah, that researcher's name is Daniel Kokotilo, and his AI 2027 report made some really specific calls for 2025. So to really get what just happened this year, we've got to go back and basically grade his homework. Let's see just how on the money he was.
All right, prediction number 1. Kokotilo said that by 2025, AI agents would stop being just cool tech demos. Nope, he predicted they'd actually be on the payroll, doing real work inside of real companies. So did it happen?
Oh yeah, he nailed it. A big resounding yes. I mean, we saw ChatGPT launch its operator mode, right? Perplexity built a whole browser around agents, and Google baked them right into Chrome. But the real kicker, the thing that proves this is for real, Goldman Sachs. They started piloting these agents. You know, this isn't some side project anymore. This is AI punching the clock for its first official day on the job.
Okay, the next prediction was a really big one, the widespread automation of software development. We're talking about the idea that AI could start writing and even fixing its own code, at a professional level.
And wow, was he ever right about this? I mean, it wasn't just true, it was kind of shocking, honestly. Just look at this chart. This is AI performance on a standard software engineering test. Back in January of 2024, the best AI scored a measly 4.4%. By the end of 2025, well, that number went to the moon.
80.9%. That's the score Claude hit. Just let that sink in for a second. We went from 4% to over 80% competency in under 2 years. That's not just progress, folks. That is a full-blown revolution in how software gets built.
All right, for the final check. The report claimed that even with all the U.S. sanctions designed to slow them down, China would still be a top contender in the AI race. And honestly, a lot of people were pretty skeptical about that one.
Well, it turns out he was dead right. A Chinese company called DeepSeek came out and released a model that was just as good as OpenAI's best. But here's the thing, it's not just what they did, it's how they did it that sent these massive shockwaves through the entire industry.
So, there you have it. The predictions were spot on. Now, let's talk about the fallout. We're going to count down the moments that really defined 2025, the actual real-world events that changed everything. And we're going to start with number 2.
Coming in at number 2, the massive wake-up call for India's IT industry. For years, it's been this powerhouse, the engine for global tech. But in 2025, well, that engine started to seriously sputter.
The IT giant TCS announced the largest layoff in the country's entire history, cutting over 12,000 jobs. And here's the really crucial part. This wasn't just about automating entry-level roles. Nope. Mid-level and even senior management got hit the hardest. Now you've got analysts warning that 500,000 jobs are at risk. This was a massive shock to the system.
And that brings us to number 1, the single most important AI moment of 2025. This is the event that triggered that Sputnik moment we talked about. This is what explains Nvidia's historic loss and Google's sudden comeback. I'm talking about the DeepSeek shock. DeepSeek showed the world you could build a world-class AI model for just $6 million, compared to the $100 million, maybe more, that OpenAI was spending. This proved that you don't need a monopoly on Nvidia's expensive chips to compete. The barrier to entry just evaporated. And that instantly put companies like Google, who make their own custom chips, in a massive position of power.
Okay, so the game has changed. The power balance has shifted, the barrier to entry has crumbled. So what does this actually mean for you right now? Well, let's get practical and talk about the new AI toolkit. These are the essential tools you absolutely should be using in your professional life to stay ahead. I'm going to rank the top 2 in each key category.
For coding, Cursor is, hands down, the undisputed king. Its deep integration makes it the default for any serious developer. Coming in at number 2 is Claude Code, which is just a beast, especially for anyone who lives in the command line. Now, for general assistance and complex writing, Claude's huge context window gives it the top spot. But hey,
Don't count out ChatGPT. It's still the most versatile tool with the best ecosystem of plugins, period. For learning and research, honestly, the sleeper hit of the year is Google's Notebook LM. The ability to just upload any document and get AI-powered summaries, or even audio versions, is a total game changer for anyone who deals with a lot of information. Perplexity's a really close second, and it's still the best for web-based research with citations. And in the world of video, Google's VLOGR 3.1 has just barely edged out OpenAI's Sora 2, delivering a little more professional quality and consistency.
All right, so you're equipped with the right tools. Now let's look at the road ahead. Based on everything that happened in 2025, here are 5 specific, checkable predictions for what's coming in 2026.
First, agentic browsers are going to become our default way of using the internet. It'll transform from a place we search to a place we command. Second, the coding agent market is going to consolidate, the gold rush will end, and we'll be left with a few big players. Third, the free lunch is over. AI search will get monetized with sponsored responses. Fourth, most entry-level digital work, think data entry, is going to be quietly and completely automated. And fifth, and this is my contrarian take, the highest paid people won't be the pure AI experts. They'll be experts in human skills who are just masterful at leveraging AI as a tool.
So that last prediction kind of raises a big question, right? If just being an AI expert isn't the goal, what skills should you actually be building? Well, here are the 3 core competencies that are going to separate the people who thrive from those who get left behind.
The first and most important skill is AI orchestration. Look, forget simple prompt engineering. That's just table stakes now. Orchestration is about being the conductor of an AI orchestra. It's knowing which instrument or tool to use for each part of a complex task and making them all play together in harmony. The other 2 skills build right on top of this. You need systems thinking. That's what gives your orchestra direction. It's the ability to see the big picture and figure out which problems are actually worth solving. And finally, human skills. When AI is handling all the routine tasks, things like sales, leadership, and communication, those become the premium differentiators that AI simply cannot replicate.
2025 was the year AI stopped being theoretical. It entered our workplaces, our factories, and our daily lives. The change isn't coming anymore, it is here. And the gap between those who understand and leverage this technology and those who don't is no longer a gap, it's a canyon. The only question left is,